So you've done a lot of work on childhood trauma and abandonment issues and attachment styles, and you know what triggers you. But now that you have all this information and you're desperate to apply it to current or maybe future relationships, what do you do with all that information? That's what we're getting into today in this video. Many of us, of course, have some sort of childhood trauma. Could be just abandonment issues. Maybe your folks split up like mine did when I was young and we moved a long way away from my dad and I didn't see him that much. Those can create a fear of abandonment. And when we have a fear of abandonment, it can either lead to an avoidant attachment style or more commonly an anxious attachment style, where you have an innate fear of being abandoned and you tend to hold on tightly to everybody, which ultimately can push some people away. But there can also be abuse, neglect, and all kinds of other issues from your childhood that will impact your adult relationships, especially your romantic relationships. But like the alcoholic who has that moment of clarity where they recognize that they're an alcoholic, even though they haven't stopped drinking yet, if you have recognized your childhood issues and traumas and baggage and how that affects your relationships, you're halfway to getting exactly where you want to be. And it's important that you not judge yourself. I know I have a fear of abandonment from some childhood issues, and I know that has created an anxious attachment style in me that sometimes surfaces in my romantic relationships, especially if I'm in a relationship with someone with an avoidant attachment style, because then that makes it all that much more intense for me. But don't judge yourself. Don't beat yourself up because you have these issues. Ultimately, you didn't create these issues, but it is important that you take responsibility now for where you're at in your life and for the success you want to have in your life. Nobody else is coming along to save you. You've got to do it for yourself. So now that you have this information, what do you do with it? That's the topic of this video. The first step, if you're not already doing it, would be to work with a qualified therapist. And especially if you have significant childhood trauma, there's one type of therapy in particular that is really, really good, not only for helping you deal with this stuff, but helping you get through it quickly. And that is called EMDR. At the time of this recording, I'm actually about to do my very first session of EMDR next week. And I will probably fill you in a future video on what that experience is like. EMDR stands for eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. Say that 3 times fast. And essentially they use rapid eye movement to sort of get to the root of those issues really, really quickly and intensely. But they use external means to do that, either like tapping sometimes or lights, kind of flashing lights, or sometimes audio as well. And again, I haven't done it yet. I'm doing my first session next week, so I'll report back. If you can't afford therapy, or you're already doing it, or you're about to start it, other good things can include journaling and meditation, as well as educating yourself, watching YouTube videos, watching TikTok videos, and reading books. The book that got me started on this journey was literally called Attached, and my therapist at the time gave me a copy of this book after my now ex-wife first asked for a divorce about 3 years ago. So of course, what we want to implement is we want to implement changes in our behavior in response to what other people are doing. Easier said than done, I know. So I want you to start small. I want you to take really small baby steps to get where you want to go. Don't try and take on the world, and don't just assume that the next relationship you jump into, I'm going to be different. It's going to be different this time around. It probably won't be. You've got to take really small incremental steps in improvement to really make a big difference. So this is all about the long haul. I would also, though, encourage you to communicate with your current partner or future partners, if you don't have one, about what you're working on. Don't keep them in the dark about this, because if they care about you, they will help you. And that's a great thing. If you understand the kinds of things that trigger you, like for example, my ex-wife had an avoidant attachment style, and so she tended to push me away and she would shove me out. And anytime there was really tough things going on, I felt totally alone, and that tended to make me want to cling more tightly to her, which only made her push me further away. And it was a vicious cycle. But understanding those triggers, understanding those things, and communicating about them with your partner, assuming you have a healthy partner, is a great thing and it's going to go a long way towards getting you where you want to be. And just like I encouraged you to not beat yourself up or criticize yourself because you have these childhood traumas and triggers and attachment styles and things like that, don't beat yourself up for making slow progress on getting to where you want to be. This is, again, a long journey towards healing. It's not going to be instantaneous, and don't be critical or hard on yourself if you're not getting there as quickly as you want to be. I know you want to be over this stuff now. I get it, but it's not like that, and it's not going to be like that, and you've got to be kind to yourself along this journey. Ultimately, it's a great thing that you have taken the time and done the self-analysis to really be in touch with yourself, to understand why you do the things that you do and what the root causes of those things are, and to want to put forth effort to fix those either in your current relationship or in a future relationship. That is a great, great thing. Not a lot of people actually get that far, sadly. So it's great that you're there. Just keep going. Be kind to yourself. Don't be afraid to just make small incremental steps in the improvements that you want to see, and you will get there, no doubt in my mind. Where are you at in this journey? Let me know in the comments. But for now, I'll see you in the next video.